This is an image of the Iran-Israel 12-day war, Trump calls it, with a single UAE flight going straight over Iran. And someone commented someone wasn't monitoring the situation, to which Patrick Blumenthal replied, quote, "I deleted social media and stopped reading the news, and honestly, my mental health has been so much better."
Yeah, but okay, so you don't delete social media. Does this change your life? Or if you in the
don't
suburbs
fly into a rocket and get your aircraft blown up and you die.
But the average person isn't flying on a regular basis, and this is such an isolated incident that for the average person who works 9 to 5 every day, goes home and goes back and does the same thing.
And the risk is, in this regard, while I don't disagree with him on everyone is going crazy and society is breaking down, not following it. I would argue watch it, but watch it critically and maintain a barrier between it.
I think you
don't
just
take
have
it
to.
personally.
You have to be smarter than like you used to be able to operate in society, and people just don't like that. They're like, "Why can't I just be crazy all day and read a bunch of crazy?" Because you're dumb.
Well, what's going to happen is if you ignore this and say, I'm not going to pay attention anymore, one day there will be a group of angry people outside waving a flag you've never seen before, screaming and throwing bricks at your house and you're in your neighborhood, and you're gonna be wondering like, I have no idea why they're mad. And then they're going to threaten your life, and you're going to be like, "What is going on?"
Wait, that's what would happen if you delete social media.
If you're so, I mean, indeed. Are you familiar with the? I saw the 2 cops that got shot. Two cops got shot over the weekend by armed leftists who were one of them was hiding in the woods. They lured the cops out, and then a guy shot the cop in the neck. And so the people who aren't paying attention to what is actually happening on the streets, be it left or right or whatever you want, you're going to be that person bumbling down the street. There's going to be a group of people wearing masks. You're going to be like, what is that? And then a guy's going to jump out of the woods and scream some phrase you've never heard before. They're going to, like, think about the things that the left says, like anticapitalista. And you're someone who doesn't follow the news, you're going to be like, I have no idea what that means. And then they're going to shoot you. And okay, I guess. You're not paying attention. You have no idea what's going on.
Or you live in a place where those people would never be because you don't have social media, so you move to the middle of nowhere.
And to be fair,
that's actually what he argues.
Yeah.
Rudyard's saying get out of society and go out. And the challenge I have for that is watching our home be destroyed. And the argument from Rudyard is plug your ears, shut it down, and leave. It's too late. The upheaval is happening, and your home is gone.
And to your point, like you can't always, people are like unplug and kind of touch grass, but like on the way into work today, there's this guy in a town kind of on the way to the office who always stands outside with his anti-Trump sign in Charlestown. And today he had like a sign with a swastika on it. And then across the street are 2 kids who have like Panera Bread, and the kid with Panera Bread throws it at him. And I'm like, I'm not on Twitter. I'm just driving to work. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look.
There was a video someone was showing me of this guy. There's a group of people that routinely go to Charlestown in West Virginia, and they protest. And there was some young guy screaming in his face and mocking him. There is a degree of insanity just happening on the streets. There's no purpose. There's no national identity. There's no solid mission. And so, what are you but a listless young man? And there's no consequences either. So this manifests for some people in making fake videos on TikTok where they accuse politicians of nonsense. Or my favorite is they make fake debates between people because they get views, and it's just they do it. The AI slop is getting crazy. And then what does the left do?
People used to
go shoot people.
Like making fake videos is kind of just the modern version of like a rumor, right? Because in the olden days, people would just say something about somebody and people would believe it. And
That's true.
It would be fake, but like there was no social media.
Yeah, but
and the same thing with like all the crazies, like George Carlin used to say that America like is, being on Earth is being at the freak show, and living in America is the front row seat.
I think
it's always been crazy. There's always been crazy people doing crazy political, angry about politics and throwing things at each other.
But there was cohesion.
No.
Yeah,
there was.
Yeah, the idea that,
there?
like Americans, well, most Americans, for most of American history, most Americans generally agreed that America is generally a good place, and now there's a significant divide about that.
There was segregation.
I'm not saying it.
And even then, the majority of people still agreed America was great.
Like even when you look at like how immigration has changed now, but the people who would talk about it say, look, when it was mostly legal immigration, the people that would come here, they believed in the American identity and they wanted to share values. issues with people that were born here, whereas now there's divides on just about every issue that all come back to the concept that one side really, really hates America and finds it to be, you know, the oppressor of the rest of the world with the original sin of slavery and stuff like that. And there's a whole generation of people now, along with older boomers and Marxists, who don't see us as a redeemable country.
Well, it's because of the academics that create all the, you know, new terminology and things, because they're trying to figure out why everything's the way it is. But then for some reason, politics is now taking what academics are saying and making policy, which isn't necessarily like
Not effective.
it's not like they're just people who are the academics' job is to talk about things and try to make sense of them, but we don't have to necessarily take it at face value.
And we don't live in a theoretical world.
Yeah, theory doesn't always translate into policy well.
That's always one of the hardest things about this job is like I'm always thinking like, look, this is all theory and we're not actually talking about it in practice. You know what the worst thing about the sign thing today was though, is that as I was driving by, I recognized the swastika, but there was like something around it and I have no idea what it was.
So it just looked like it was.
So I have when the kid that threw the bread at him, I don't know if he threw it because he saw a swastika or because it was something else. So it's just the guy's messaging was mixed. It's like, is somebody mad at you because you have a swastika, or are they mad at you because you were saying something else? I have no idea.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.